Yes, people, and welcome back to another episode of FCM Sunday Nights. Where else would you rather be than with the boys? You're here back with myself, Fuad, of course, joined by my co-host this week, the cult hero, Culture Cams is here as well. Guys, this is a big one as well, so make sure you're getting involved in the comments as well. We'll be going through our list of biggest scandals that we've seen in our lifetime. Let us know your ones if we have missed any. There's so many that we left out as well. So let us know in the comments ones that you think hit home for you. Leave a like as well on the video as well. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And of course, let's get into it. Cams, do you want to get the ball rolling on this?
Yes.
Because I feel like there's a couple we could start off with, but where do you want to start?
Well, all right, cool. Let me start with, I think, one that people know about, but the magnitude of it, I think, still lives on to this day, bro.
Yeah.
I think it's so huge into what these two clubs are and what these two clubs kind of represent, right? So the one I'm talking about is Luis Figo. Luis Figo transferring to Real Madrid. I think if you're talking about, what's the word, traitor? If you're talking about betrayal, if you're talking about just, what's the word, like backdooring someone?
Yeah.
Luis
Sticking
Figo,
the knife in.
sticking the knife in. What Luis Figo did to Barcelona is one of the biggest ones. And let me tell you the background around it. Because I actually watched Figo's documentary as well.
Yeah.
And I've seen his point of view. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of like, okay, bro, I'm kind of hearing you a little bit because there was kind of stuff about his contract and he was having a little bit of bickers with the club and stuff. However, we need to go to the origins. Florentino Perez. Florentino Perez is trying to get presidency of Real Madrid. He is running to be
First
the president.
run.
His first run, by the way, yes. At the turn of the year, 2000, millennium. You got to start the year big. You got to start the millennium big, right?
Start the century big.
Start the century, sorry. You got to start the century big. So Florentino Perez comes in and basically says, so there's another guy, I don't remember the name of the guy that he's competing against. And he basically just says, listen, if I get the Real Madrid presidency, I will bring Luis Figo to Real Madrid. Everybody laughed. Everybody's like,
They called him crazy.
Come on, bro. Figo was one of the best players in the world at this point. One of the best in the world.
Ballon d'Or was coming up for him.
Yes,
Current
exactly.
captain of Barcelona as well. He'd been there 5 years, had cemented his place as like an icon.
An icon, a proper icon. Someone that if Barcelona are ever going to top Real Madrid, it's going to be led by Luis Figo. So then, he says that he's going to get him for president. He's going to get Luis Figo to come to the club. Everyone's laughing, everyone's joking, thinking that he's gone crazy. Florentino Perez, through his promises and of course through his work, ends up getting presidency. And what does he do? He delivers exactly what he says. Because shortly after, Luis Figo signs for Real Madrid. The arch rivals, the nemesis. The nemesis. He signs for Real Madrid to be part of this new Galacticos. He's the first.
The first.
The original.
He is the OG.
The first Galactico is Luis Figo off the rivals.
Yeah.
I want to put that into context right now. Imagine right now, and it's maybe let's just say with the clubs because they're not neighborhood rivals. They're rivals by what they've done in the competition. So I'm going to go with Manchester United and Arsenal. Imagine when Sir Jim Ratcliffe walked into the club right now. He said, if you guys get me this over Qatar, I'm going to bring Bukayo Saka.
Absurd.
I'm going to bring Bukayo Saka.
Absolute. Like, Arsenal fans would laugh you out of the room.
And imagine he delivered on that promise. The world would go mad.
But do you know what makes this the backstabbing that it is? It's the fact that Luis Figo was the one that had the option to say no.
Yes.
Because all Florentino Perez did was follow the rules and activated the release clause. I think it's a 62 million euros record at the time as well. World transfer record. And you're thinking, all right, he's paid the fee. Now the ball is in Figo's court. He knows he's got the Ballon d'Or coming up.
Yeah.
He knows he's the current captain leading this Barca side. Are you going to accept the contract or not? And that's where Florentino Perez...
Credit to him.
You have to give him his dues.
And you also got to maybe, I don't know if it's, do you commend Figo for the balls and the bravery to do that too. Because, I mean, let's talk about when he went and visited the Camp Nou.
Yes.
What happened there?
Pig's head.
The pig's head. By the way, he didn't have a great game, by the way. He was rattled. I saw in the Figo documentary.
Hold on, would you not be?
Yeah.
Someone throws a dead pig's head at a football game.
Iconic
Bro,
image.
to this day, I haven't seen that.
You won't see that again.
To this day, I haven't seen that.
You won't see that
I've not seen any. They throw coins in the Premier League.
Coins,
and bottle caps.
Bro,
tissues.
What they were doing, that pitch was littered. He couldn't take corners. At some point, they had to tell him, Figo, no more corners. Because he's the corner taker. Yeah. Figo, no more corners. This is dangerous. Yeah. This could cause a riot. That's how mad it was. And you guys know what the El Clasico means. You guys know what Real Madrid and Barcelona means. This is, for me, I'm always burnt at Carlos Tevez, what he did. But Carlos Tevez, it was we didn't activate to sign him. This, for me, is the biggest betrayal in football history. I mean, close second is your boy, so Campbell. But
he's one of them ones that closely missed out, because this one I was like is the biggest one in my opinion. And
so what have you got?
That's actually a great way to start that one as well. I can't lie. Politic narratives, records being broken, rivalries there.
There's a lot of politics behind Real Madrid and Barcelona too. A lot of politics.
I want to go back in the time machine a little bit, actually. You know what I mean? Let's go back to a time when I was around, and maybe some of you at home weren't around. The 94 World Cup.
Damn! I weren't around.
And I want to talk about actually a sad story.
Yeah, okay.
The passing of Andre Escobar, which for me, I watched this story on a ESPN Films documentary later years, long after it had happened. And when I heard the story, it was like the first time you're hearing a footballer had passed away because of something that happened on the pitch. And just to give kind of the little bit of backstory, of course, Colombia were at the World Cup in the group stage at the 94 being hosted in United States. And Andre Escobar scored the own goal that made the game 1-0. They went on to lose the game 2-1, proceeded to get knocked out of the World Cup. Of course, you've got big cartels in Colombia who've put money on this game.
Yeah.
I think after the tournament, where a lot of players sometimes, especially when your team gets dumped out early, you might want to go abroad somewhere else.
Yeah.
Escobar said, nah, you know what? I'm staying home. And I think they were saying he should have visited relatives in Las Vegas, Nevada, but he decided to stay in Colombia with his friends, and he got seen at a bar in the parking lot of El Indio.
That's insane.
When they opened fire on him, essentially.
That is insane.
And with every shot they took, they shouted, goal, goal, goal.
Seriously?
That's literally what I'm reading here.
What?
And the dude got arrested very shortly after as well, but it was one of those crazy stories where you just think, I can't believe this has happened to a footballer.
I didn't even know
that we've seen on the international stage at the World Cup, and you've seen kind of like the knock-on effect it had. I don't think Colombian football recovered for a long time. The reputation of Colombian football was in the mud for a long time. And I think only in like maybe the last 10, 15 years of the James Rodriguez is coming out, it's really kind of recovered. But what a sad story in my opinion. Like one of the saddest stories in football history in my opinion. Like for you to go out, play for your country, try and do your best, and then to end up having your life taken because of that. For me, that's when it's like, we've crossed the line here. Do you know what I mean?
That's so great. I did not really know sad. That goal part is insane.
It's absolutely madness. And even at his funeral, I think there was 120,000 people that turned up, which showed kind of the love that people had for him. And it was one of those things. It was one of those real moments as well in Colombia where it turned people against cartels and really changed the culture.
Things were going too far there, man. There's obviously a lot of stuff that was involved in that. You know what I mean? Maybe a loss of money, gambling, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's literally what it was. They said Humberto Castro Munoz was the guy who was basically arrested for it, and he basically bet a lot of money on obviously Colombia to proceed, and obviously it didn't happen. But one of those stories where it was like, I'd never seen anything in football like that since. Yeah. And I think that's like one of those one-of-one stories where I was like, nah, I feel like we have to kind of mention that.
Never see something like that again. I mean, that is incredible.
I hope we never do. I hope we never do. Do you know what I mean?
Damn. All right. I mean, that was a somber one. So let me lift the mood a little bit. Let me lift the mood of this one. This for me is... Sorry, when you were saying it, I laughed a little bit. I wasn't laughing at Escobar.
I hope not.
I was laughing at what I'm about to say, right? For me, this is the funniest story probably in football ever. And if it happened now, it would not only be our dud of the week, it will be our dud of
Done of the pod ever. Who is it?
I'm talking about Ali Dia.
Oh, football's greatest con man.
The greatest con man. Listen, you're talking about fraud, you're talking about 419, you're talking about all these things, whatever codes you have for fraud. This is the biggest hoax in football history, bro.
Yeah.
Ali Dia is a random man, right? A random man who claimed to be the cousin of George Weah.
Nah,
so let me tell you how it started. Somebody called I think they called
Graham Souness.
They called the club or Graham Souness directly, right? And pretended to be George Weah and basically said, I have a guy, my cousin is cold. Like I've got a guy.
He plays for PSG.
He plays for PSG. He'll come and he'll come for a trial.
Senegal International.
Brother, Senegal International. Let's just stop right there. Where was the research? Who is research? So nobody said, let me go and check PSG. Nobody said, let me go and check Senegal.
Nope.
They just thought some random man on the phone is George Weah. Basically,
You gotta remember though. No, but you gotta remember the context.
I don't care about the time.
No.
Don't tell me about the time.
The context of the time. Nah, Cams.
No,
it's George Weah, Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah.
So you're already thinking, I'm on the phone with George Weah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me act up. But then also you gotta remember, it's a time when, bro, the internet is literally born maybe the year before,
Bro,
2 years before.
Football clubs are professional clubs.
I mean, phones weren't even like that back then. You know, you had to wait for someone to get off the line on the other end to be like, yo, I need to go through. But I don't know.
Bro.
I can see how back then you might have fell for it.
Okay, all right.
But then for me, it was a case of when he turned up at training.
That's what I'm saying. So now Ali Dia turns up at training. Maybe he had been practicing for this his whole life because he gets there and somehow impresses Graham Souness enough. And it's funny because you see Graham Souness now on TV as this serious man, as a player, this serious man. I can't believe the lack of due diligence he did here.
Yeah.
So you see Ali Dia turns up to training and actually impresses enough to make the match day squad.
Yeah.
So he made the match day squad, and I don't know if he started. He brought him on as a substitute for Leeds, right? Mm-hmm. Against Leeds, for Southampton. He comes on the pitch.
Injured Matt Letizia comes off.
Ali Dia comes onto the pitch, right? By the way, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I've seen his cameo. It's not that bad.
He had a big chance. He had an easy chance that he missed though, which kind of made it look like.
But is it that bad?
Is it George Weah's really cousin? Because George Weah would have buried that.
Yeah, 100%. After 20 minutes, he got hooked. He got taken off after a disastrous 20 minutes, and from there, we never saw Ali Dia play for Southampton again. Graham Souness and Southampton found out that this man is not George Weah's cousin.
Finesse.
He's never played for PSG.
Finesse.
He's never played for Senegal. He ends up in the the Death Valley of football. We don't even know where he ended up, right? So
I think I've got his career a bit. He went Gateshead after
Gateshead. That's non-league.
Non-league.
Yeah.
And then he went to Spennymoor United.
Whoever the hell they are.
County Durham.
Dude, I have no idea. They might as well just pay for my Sunday League team. So he basically ends up in Sunday League football, relatively. And then you know what? He absolutely disappears after that from the face of the earth. To the point that Bleacher Report put a search out for him. Can anyone find Ali Dia? Anyone? So we can try and locate and have this great story.
Just so we can complete the circle.
Only person they got in contact is his mother, who then says he doesn't want no contact. He might be in Saudi, he might be in Qatar, he might be in Dubai. Nobody knows. So the search for Ali Dia continues.
Listen.
Football's greatest con man. The guy lived everyone's dream.
100%.
He went from a nobody to a Premier League fixture officially.
Do you know what I was going to say? I was going to say, you got to rate the finesse.
You live my dream.
You got to rate the finesse, bro.
20 minutes on a Premier League pitch, thank you very much.
I know for a fact as well, that there were people inspired of that story and tried to ring up clubs afterwards.
100%.
Hey, yo, listen, I'm
cousin.
You know what I mean? I'm Heskey's cousin or something. I don't even know, bro. No, that is one of football's almost like I feel like that's a story that's never going to leave football.
No, never.
It's 50 years time, 100 years time, it's going to be brought back up.
I beg everyone, go and watch his cameo. Actually, let me know what you think about his cameo.
Yeah, please let us know in the comments.
Bro.
Pause it, go and watch it, and then come back and let us know what you think in the comments as well, please.
Legend,
hey,
man.
let me move on actually to... I was talking about the 94 World Cup on the last one. I want to move on to the 98 World Cup. Ooh. Sorry, people. You know I'm an old head. I'm always going to try and give you a little bit of a flashback. But I want to take you back to the night before the World Cup final. And I don't know if you remember, maybe you was in your nappies or something, but I'm sure everybody has some semblance of the seizure of R9 the night before the World Cup. And let me give you a backstory on kind of what happened. I think it's at 4 p.m. the day before the World Cup, Ronaldo began to convulse and foam at his mouth. His teammates helped prevent him from swallowing his tongue, and he eventually woke up normally. However, he had no memory of what had happened and was taken to hospital for tests. The Brazil coach left him out of the starting lineup, but changed his mind 40 minutes before the final. Roberto Carlos said that Ronaldo was scared and the pressure had gotten to him. And then he said also that after the game, he said that we lost the World Cup, but I won another cup, my life. So we kind of looked at it from that kind of aspect. But I remember being a kid, and that was like the first World Cup I watched. And I remember seeing Ronaldo leading up to that tournament was the best player in the world. Fake. Bold, skinny. The peak Ronaldo for me was that 98 World Cup. And you're thinking the final, let's lock in now. Home team France. And the shell of a player I saw
in the final,
you couldn't believe it, bro. And then for me, the saddest part was as well is after that World Cup, Ronaldo almost became like a figment of my imagination because he started to get the knee injuries after. You almost didn't see him till the next World Cup, 2002. And that's why, for me personally, that is always my favorite World Cup ever. Because it's almost like you saw the
crazy
redemption arc.
Unbelievable.
Golden goal, golden boot, goals in the final, iconic haircut. He lifts the moment and you're thinking, this is the guy I saw as a kid. But I remember that World Cup night when that happened, it was just like, what? Ronaldo nearly died. I remember my brother telling me, like, Ronaldo swallowed his tongue. And I was like, you know when you're trying to do it yourself? How does someone do that? And it's like, it was the first time I grasped the concept of a football player even dying. And that was like at such a young age. And it was just...
But do you think, bro, I don't know, maybe I've watched too many conspiracies. But do you think that's the truth?
I think it is.
I truly think it really happened.
I truly think Ronaldo had a seizure or some medical issue the night before. I'm not going to say partying or spike. I don't think so. Because I think now it would have come out. It's almost what?
But I don't know.
Bro, we're nearly
I don't know why I associate. I just think for some reason, the World Cup was in France, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I just feel like, maybe not spiked, but I feel like, is there something government?
Hear me out. At the time,
they shook him up, bro.
Definitely thought France finessed it. Because in my head as well, it was the first time.
Corrupt,
bro,
man.
In the first time, it was the first time I saw a host country win the tournament. So I was like, France ain't even that good.
Yeah.
When you look back at it retrospectively and you look at the entire lineup, you're like, bro, that's a world-class France team. They deserve to win it. So for me, it was one of those where I believe the story. And I think had something different happened, someone in that Brazil camp would have snitched
by now.
Would have dropped a little autobiography, a little podcast here, and said, this is really what happened. We went out the night before, Ronaldo got spiked. And so for me, I think the fact that it's still the same story, 26 years on, for me, I think
insane when it's putting into context again. I'm like trying to, because obviously we got young viewers as well. I'm trying to put into context. This guy here, what you're looking at here, 98 Ronaldo. This is 2011 Messi.
Yeah.
This actually, let's go to the World Cup 2014. That's Messi before the final against Germany having a seizure. Collapsing. Getting onto the pitch and just playing like an absolute dud. Imagine. And don't even say, you can't compare. No, this was Messi. This is what people thought they would never see a better man than this guy.
Facts.
Imagine that.
Crazy, honestly, crazy. And the fact, as I said, the fact that he made that redemption arc in the 2002 World Cup for me was the icing. And it's so mad because everybody remembers Ronaldo almost from that 2002 World Cup onwards. I feel like a lot of people, they remember the hat-trick at Old Trafford, his Madrid career. And I always think that was Ronaldo almost like when he put on weight.
Yeah,
the knees had got to him.
Yeah.
If you see him during that almost 95 to like 99 period.
Yeah. I mean,
Phenom.
people still say,
Phenom.
even with Messi alive, people still say that's probably that might be the best of ever. It's just insane. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Where you going next though?
Let's go. You just mentioned like a forward, a striker. You know what? I wasn't here to see it, right?
Yeah.
But
We had to do homework for some of these.
100%.
Yeah.
Hearing about this one, obviously we see in videos. I gotta go to Eric Cantona, man. King Eric at my football club. Bro, I think like maybe the world has just gone different because I feel like you won't see this stuff no more. Like this is a player assaulting a fan in the middle of a match.
Bro, we gotta remember
this ain't the WWE.
Bro, we got he just got sent off.
He just got sent off.
Right?
So either way, you really let us down, brother. You're walking off the pitch.
Us.
Then he's hearing some rubbish. To be fair, I do think the fan apparently was saying, so the fan, I'm not going to say, he said, F off back to France, you French mother effer, right? So that's what the guy shouted down to Cantona.
And Cantona, he ran down 11 rows as well.
Bro, so what? You trying to come and scrap me, bro? Like, I can't, listen, you run down 11 rows to talk shit to me. Let's have it out. Let's have it out, bro. Because, of course, that's also kind of very, very provoking. Yeah. And if you guys know Eric Cantona's personality, this guy retired at 33. Was he even 33?
I think it was 31.
30 or 31. He retired at 30 or 31. He's not a normal dude. You've seen his interviews when the Seagulls,
I love
bro,
it.
Joga Benito, blah, blah, blah. Everything that he does, right? Yeah. The guy is a character. He's got the arrogance. He's got the swagger. He doesn't take shit. That's one thing. No, Eric Cantona doesn't take shit. Listen to Gary Neville speak about him. Listen to Class of 92. This guy is a serious man. He's one of the only men that Sir Alex Ferguson said, brother, you do whatever you want. Yeah. I'm going to have some lieutenants around you. You just do what you want, brother. I'm not even going to bother picking your brain. So you think running down 11 rows after this hothead has just been sent off, it's going to end well for you, brother? What's the guy's name? Matthew Simmons. You think it was going to end well for you, bro? Eric Cantona.
I wonder what he's up to these days, man.
Yeah, I hope he's good. I hope he's well.
I guarantee he's at pubs probably still telling a story about...
I'm the one.
I got to Cantona that time,
I tattoo his kick on my face, bro. But honestly, Cantona then goes into the crowd. Well, obviously hears it. Goes into the crowd. Fly kick. Stud to face onto this guy. Then, he's not even done. He gets up. Whoom! Throws the straightener.
That's the part people always forget, you know.
Whoom! Bro, there was ladies in the crowd. He doesn't care who was there. Eric Cantona went mad. And then after that, guys, he gets a long ban. Eric Cantona gets banned, of course, for the 94-95 season.
Wasn't he meant to go to prison?
He was meant to go to prison. He spent 2 weeks in jail. Yeah, he spent 2 weeks in jail. And listen, I'm going to tell you about Cantona. Cantona, in the 6 seasons that he played for Man United, we won 5 league titles. The only one we didn't win, he's fly kicked somebody in the face. He fly kicked somebody in the face. It's actually incredible. Again, imagine the best player in the league now. Whoever you guys see as the best player in the league. Mo Salah, KDB.
Salah fly kicking someone at Selhurst.
Bro. Oh my God. The magnitude is insane.
Just to play into the madness of Cantona as well. Do you know what he said after the incident?
What did he say?
I've said before, I should have kicked him harder.
Oh,
but maybe tomorrow I'll say something else. He goes, I cannot regret it. Mm-hmm. It was a great feeling. I learned from it. And I think he learned from it. I said, you know what, Cantona?
Hey,
that's real men right there.
Real men. It's
standing
real
on business. I respect it, bro.
I ain't heard what Matthew Simmons said about it. I'm sure he's probably had a son. The son has probably spoken to him about it. Hey, but I would love to see what he said about it.
Listen, Matt Simmons, if you're watching this, FCM, you want to come say your piece? Come through, brother. Come through.
Production, you guys have managed to find farms for best of enemies. Find me, Matthew Simmons.
Please.
Find me.
I need a play-by-play of what went through his head that day.
Bro.
No, listen. But I actually, you know what? I'm glad because I've been on almost like a World Cup theme.
Yes.
94, 98. I'm now going to move on to 2002. And I'm going to go to one game straight away. South Korea versus Italy.
Can I just say, why is the World Cup so corrupt?
Bro.
Why are so many World Cup corrupt? So it's to the point that you can't rule out a World Cup now being corrupt.
100%.
World Cups are corrupt.
100%. So this was 2002 match, Italy versus South Korea.
Yes.
And the amount of decisions in this game,
Go
bro.
and check it on YouTube.
Brian Moreno, you have severe blood on your hands. And
That's
we're
the
going
ref.
to talk about him, but there was a controversial penalty to South Korea in the first half. There was a golden goal, Di Tomasi, I think, scored,
Tomasi,
which got disallowed. He gave a second yellow card to Francesco Totti, which seemed like a soft one as well.
Ridiculous.
After this game as well, you know, ESPN reported that they had 400,000 complaints about a referee. I don't think that has been recorded in TV history.
Bro, that's more than Ofcom for Love Island.
Bro, if you go and watch this game back, you will be baffled as to how Italy didn't win it. And of course, that year, the World Cup was hosted by Japan and South Korea, which again leads on to the, hey, host nation.
Host nations are always corrupt.
Hey, I didn't want to say it, innit? But let me just tell you a little bit more about this referee as well, because this game you almost felt like was a corrupt moment.
100%.
But he got away with it. But he ain't get away with it. Because he went back to Ecuador. And let me just read here. He was suspended for 20 matches by Ecuadorian football authorities.
What, for this?
No. This came after he made timekeeping errors in a match between Quito and Barcelona, Ecuador.
Yeah.
And then in May 2003, in his third game back from that suspension, Moreno was again suspended, this time for one match after he sent off 3 players from the visiting Deportivo Quito.
Oh my days.
I'm not finished, Cams. He retired the following month following below par performances. Moreno was then arrested in 2010 at JFK Airport in New York City while trying to smuggle 6 kilograms of H, which was hidden in his underwear. He pleaded guilty to the charges and he was facing a possible 10 years. He served 26 months in prison.
This guy is...
Do you understand the levels of crookery that's going on here?
This man is a hardened criminal, bro. Man said I went traveling and re-offended. You know what apparently is mending? 2 months mixing a brizzy. What?
Bro.
He went from rigging games to smuggling food.
I cannot believe it, bro. When I was doing the research, because I just looked at it. You know what? I remember the Italy game. Let me have a look at this. Then I went, hold on. Let me see the ref. And the story of the ref was more interesting than the cheating in the game. I said, it's unbelievable. And I'm sure a lot of you might not know. A lot of you might not maybe weren't around. But wow, this is one of the craziest stories I've heard.
So that's basically...
We're complaining about David Coote.
Bro.
We're complaining about David Coote.
That is basically 100% confirmation that Italy were cheated.
100%.
Do you know how mad that is, bro? They need reparations for that. Like, what? Well, they won the next
2006.
Yeah, to be fair.
Football, you know what I mean? It always sorts itself out.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
They got their lick back.
They did, but Maldini didn't. Maldini didn't.
That was his last dance.
He didn't get reparation.
Hold! Ramos was there for his. Who's the GOAT now?
You're an idiot. Nah, that is crazy. Oh, man. Maldini, man. Because that was a good Italy team. The back three were Cannavaro, Nesta, and Maldini.
With Buffon behind.
With Pirlo,
Gattuso.
No, Pirlo wasn't there.
Oh, no. Pirlo came next
Even Gattuso wasn't there. Even Gattuso wasn't there.
I think, was on the bench around them times. It was Di Tomasi. I think Delivio, if I'm not mistaken.
Tomasi. All I know is Totti was there. Del Piero was there. Bro, it was a serious team.
Nah, Italy got done very dirty there, and honestly,
crazy.
I'm glad justice has been served in both Italy getting their World Cup and both him getting done as well.
With Italy's mafia links, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he was even able to continue doing all of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? John Gotti, is that what you're allowing?
But moving on, we spoke about Italy previously. I want to stay in Italy, actually, and talk about what I feel like everybody knows as the biggest football scandal, I feel like, the Calciopoli scandal. Just to kind of give a little bit of a backstory, this was uncovered in May 2006 when a number of telephone tappings showed relations between club executives and referee organizations between the 04-05 and the 05-06 season. The particular clubs that were being accused were Fiorentina, Lazio, Milan, Juventus, and Regina, who all received penalties the following season. Juventus was, of course, stripped of their 04-05 title.
Madness.
Which, and then the 05-06 one was given to Inter Milan as well. I think Massimo De Santis was the only referee charged, but this had like such a ripple effect in Italian football, in world football, I feel, as well, because Juve at the time, I think, were becoming that super powerhouse. They just signed Zlatan, just got Vieira from Arsenal as well, and within a year they were both gone. Emerson had come in from Roma, gone to, as well, and it started the era of Inter's dominance as well, if you notice, because they got relegated. Inter now came in, and Jose's treble team is almost like the final like, nail hooray. Of that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like Juve had to start their entire rebuild from Serie B. And credit to Juve, they actually came back. But at the time, I remember just thinking, because being the Edgar Davids guy I always had a soft spot for Juve. So it was like, what the hell? Big clubs can actually get relegated.
Mad. And then first time I've ever seen it.
It was the first time I'd ever seen that, first and foremost. And then it was like, hold on, cheating actually happens. Where like clubs get brown on the phone to referees, and referees are like, all right, cool, I'll do this decision. And in certain games, they were like, cheap penalties being given, certain draws, whistles going easily. And I was like, yo, they're really lifting the curtain. And I think it was a case that obviously went on for years and years and years. But I still think to this day, Italian football hasn't recovered from that. It's still got the kind of dirty fingerprints around it. Yeah. And I just feel like Italian football was already on the decline at the time, and that was almost like a nail in the coffin. It really didn't need. It hasn't really recovered since stadium attendances, the finances, I mean, you see how these big Italian clubs are getting outbidded and out-transferred by clubs like Bournemouth and stuff like that. And it's like, I understand the power of the Premier League, but I just feel like
it really crashed the stocks. Because the Serie A was seen as the best league in the early 2000s, right? And then for that to happen, now maybe around that time, it would have still been probably one or two. Funny enough, around that time it happened, Premier League was still probably the third division in that point. It was, I'm sorry, the third top league. It was probably Spain and Italy that were really starting to, and it was probably Italy, to be fair.
I would say, England started from 05 onwards. England really started taking over.
I always say when Abramovich really got his feet wet, I think the Premier League took off. But at that point, Italy was one of them. Barcelona had only really just started getting going with Ronaldinho at that point. So it was really either La Liga or Serie A. And I think, do you know what? It didn't only do damage to Serie A. I think it also did damage to a lot of Italian players that played for those teams' legacies, man. I think it damaged a bit of Buffon's. He spent a few years in the Serie B, Serie C, or whatever it was, coming up. It damaged someone like, I think club-wise, club career, Cannavaro, we now kind of just like act like
100%.
That never even happened. You know what I mean? You talk about Cannavaro, you talk about the World Cup. Bro, he had a whole career before that, but it's now just like, you World guys Cup, are part of the cheaters. Yeah, man. Like Del Piero, I think he might even need to be championed more. And it's just kind of like,
it's left a dirty stain on that whole Juve period.
It did. And do you know what's crazy though? I feel like Juventus are the only ones that are getting full blame for it. Milan were there.
Nah, fully.
Milan have like escaped this like they weren't part of it.
Bro, do you know what the worst part is? Milan only got, I think it was a 3 or a 4 point deduction. So it wasn't even like something crazy that they couldn't recover from. They didn't win any titles during that period. You look at that 20...
No,
that
early.
They got one with Zlatan and Thiago Silva when they arrived. But I'm saying during that whole decade of the thousands, that AC Milan team
they didn't win enough.
Splattered everywhere, talking about, look at the world-class 11. One league title is all they had to show for it. With a recovering Juve side, an Inter basically team that was beneath you and took over, essentially. And it was like, what the hell is Italian football? Like, for so long, I just felt like it was just out of sync.
And the thing is, they really showed how much politics, how much stuff actually go on in football. Because I think people even forget Berlusconi. How did he get the Milan presidency? This guy basically said, as part of his prime minister push, that he'll get by AC Milan. He's
now in charge of 1 second. I think he's in charge of Berlusconi.
It's madness to be able to get Milan. To get Milan, he basically promised to get prime minister. He basically promised that he'll buy Milan. And it's incredible. People always say leave.
Oh, no, it's Adriano Galliani, who's at another club. Yeah.
People always say leave politics out of football, but guys, it's actually littered in it, man. It's actually nasty. You know what? I think my last one, is so iconic that I want you to.
Before you go on your last one, actually, because this one is still kind of in Italy.
Yes.
Let me add on to this one.
Yes.
And I want to talk about Adrian Mutu.
If you were there, you were there. You know.
You young Chelsea fans, come and take a seat by the fire.
When I think about Mutu quickly, sorry.
Yeah.
I just think, production. Yes. Wait. Production, you got the wrong kit for him.
No, this is the kit.
No, do you know what kit is?
This is, because he
white one.
No.
With the blue stripe. That's Mutu's kit.
No.
That's Mutu's
for me,
kit.
he represents this Chelsea.
This Chelsea, yeah.
The era where Abramovich just came in. He wanted to spend some money.
Yep.
He said, who is this Romanian kid?
He could have been the first superstar Chelsea,
could have been
bro.
the first superstar. And that first season, scoring the free kicks. I think he got 10 goals in like 30 games. But the goals he was scoring, the link-up play he had technically was so good. But got banned for 7 months, virtually ending his Chelsea career after getting caught testing positive for Class A drugs. 1 year after signing for Chelsea, where you think the Premier League, as we said, that's when the boom is about to happen.
Yep.
Chelsea, the boom is about to happen. You are in prime position. You are given the number 7 shirt.
Gav.
They are saying, forget Crespo, we have you. And you go and do this nonsense. And, bro, the knock-on effect of this ban, I just want to go through it a little bit. Because Chelsea seeked compensation for this, you know that?
Bro.
And sued him for 3 years straight, bro, to get their money back. Do you know how much they won in court? How much? Dispute Resolution Chamber settled for 17 million euros. That is including the 16.5 million they paid to Parma. That is the signing on fee. That is the agent fee. And the rest of his contract amortized. They said, we want everything we invested in you paid back to us.
He doesn't even have that money.
I love this. Bro. That's what you would think, right? So, highest fine ever levied by FIFA. You best believe he has been fighting till 2018 in the courts trying to appeal this. Every single appeal, rejected. They say you must pay. It is unbelievable. Do you know what the worst part about Adrian Mutu is?
It's going to end up like Delonte West.
No, but do you know the worst part about this fool is? This isn't even the only ban he's got.
Oh my days.
He leaves Chelsea in a time when all of this case is going on in the background. He goes to Juve. They say, hey, look, we're going through a rebuild period. We've just been relegated. Come back into us. We'll give you a little platform. He leaves a year later, goes to Fiorentina, where now he's starting to settle a little bit, starting to find his form again. This idiot tests positive again. 2009, he gets a 9-month ban.
Why are you telling me about so many reoffenders? Why are they reoffending?
I cannot understand what goes through this guy's head.
What the hell?
Bro, his career never recovers after that Fiorentina. And I remember when he went to Fiorentina as well. Do you remember Bozhinov?
Of course, Valery Bozhinov.
Yeah, Man City fan. Early takeover, you'll remember.
FM, wonder kid.
Them two were cooking over there. And it was like, yo, Montelivio and them, man. I was like, right. But after that, Cesena and all these random clubs he played for, but he never recovered his football career, never recovered the finances. I'm sure he still owes Chelsea millions.
He would.
But for me, it is one of the biggest waste of careers I've ever seen. And if you was around in that era of football, you would have seen Mutu sign for Chelsea, seen that first season, and you would have thought, this guy's going to be one of the next ones up, coming up. And the way it just panned out, for me, that was the first footballer I saw get banned for drug testing. Really. I know we saw Rio. I know we saw Colo Torre afterwards as well. But that was the first one where I was like, Class A drugs?
Class A.
I didn't even know footballers did this.
Bro,
I was like,
and at that
maybe
age,
in the 90s or 80s, but in this era, in the thousands, I thought we'd move beyond
I always thought to myself, that if you're going to get banned for anything like that, then at least let it be something that enhances your performance.
Yeah.
I mean, flipping out, that's just recreational madness. You know what I mean? That's
don't they say that is usually out your system within 48 hours as well? It's like, I'm like, how so you're doing this the night before? Bro, Mutu, absolute dud. Absolute duddery. But last but not least, please, Camps, let us know what you have in the tank.
Now, listen, it depends how you see it. For me, this is football's greatest maverick. This is the greatest maverick in football history. This is probably the biggest personality in football history in terms of what he showed on the pitch, what he showed off the pitch. But I want to talk about how do I say it? It's like the Jekyll and Hyde. It's like the evil and genius. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, it's like the greatness and the genius of this. Like, there's so many. It's the polar opposites of what he showed, firstly, in this 1986 World Cup. Guys, for me, I've seen the videos. This is the best individual World Cup ever for a player in terms of him.
You and Leah's ran through the tapes.
Bro, me and Leah's were watching 1982 World Cup.
Bro, he was telling me the other day. He was like, you lot are watching some throwback World Cups. I said, rah, you lot really getting into your old head bags.
Bro, we were watching 1982 World Cup. For me, in terms of performance, individually, this is the best performance in World Cup history, right? So now, let me paint the picture. England, even going before that, there's controversy between England and Argentina due to the Falkland Wars. So Maradona, before that game, he is absolutely pumped. Apparently, he's saying to the players, we're not just playing for the football. We are playing for the country politically. We have to basically bury these English ones. That's basically what he was saying. He was gassing up his players. So he was so fired up for this game. What did this man go and do, right? They go out there. England, obviously, big game. You guys can see in the image right there, the days before VAR. That is what I'm going to say. The days before VAR. Perfect. He sets it up. So he gets on the ball, whatever. He plays something. It ricochets, I believe, over to, what's the keeper's name? Shilton. Peter Shilton. Oh, yeah, ricochets off Valdana to Peter Shilton. And look at what he goes and does there. Diego Maradona, they call this goal the hand of God. Maradona jumps in the air. You guys got to remember, this brother's 5'6". He's 5'6".
You know, he's 5'6". Peter Shilton has 8 inches on him. 8
pause, but that's crazy. But he...
Yeah, I can't lie, say, man. No. I saw that stat just there. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
He's tall. He's got 8 inches taller than him. Diego Maradona jumps in the air, hand like that, and not even just handballs it, does this. He acts like he heads it. It goes in. Obviously, as I said, the days before VAR, England are going berserk. England players instantly knew it. Peter Shilton is like, no way.
He couldn't believe it.
This is unbelievable. Diego Maradona, do you know what he even said? This is his own words. I had to sell it. I knew, of course, I handballed it. So he ran off. Whoa, over celebrating. Yes, like he did something magical.
Love it.
He knew, and even when the players came to him, he was telling them, celebrate, so they can just like drown it all out.
Do you know what else? Because I think a lot of the English defense were thinking it was offside.
Yeah,
I think that's what they were appealing initially.
But
Shilton started screaming. Yeah. He used his hand.
Yeah.
They all went crazy. Yeah. And by then, the celebration's already gone. There's no replays. You're caught up in the moment.
Bro, if VAR was around, we wouldn't have had arguably the most... This is a top 5 most iconic moment in football history, I think, in terms of in a football match.
Yeah.
If we had VAR, them times, that would have never happened. But then, guys, I have to continue. I can't just end it there. Maradona said, oh, what? You think just because I do a couple little cheating, I lie, I cheat, I steal. Like Eddie Guerrero. You think it's over? All right. Give me the ball right now. This brother picks up the ball, run past one, run past two. I think he only took like 9 touches apparently, or up 12 touches. Ran past one, ran past 2, ran past 3, ran past the goalkeeper, slots it in, hand in the air. The goal of the century, they named it. So he just showed you 2 sides to him. I'm going to show you why I'm arguably the greatest footballer to ever live, but I'm also going to show you why I'm also the maddest man to ever live. You know what I mean? And then, so that's Diego Maradona then. And listen, we're talking about reoffending.
Yo, we've had a lot of reoffenders on the show today, you know.
Bro, these men, they're not good people. No. We're talking about reoffending.
Do you know what's crazy? 1990 World Cup, he cooked again.
He went to the final.
And then it was the 94 where he come in the cameras and went,
94. I think he was playing for Sevilla at the time.
Yeah.
Sevilla at the time. He came with a new trim. By the way, he had this like little
blonde flick in the
this
middle.
little trim, right? Playing with his necklaces on now. You know what I mean? He's feeling himself a bit.
Little
you know
10
what I mean?
kilo heavier.
Little, tucking in his shirts and that. A little bit heavier. Old man though, but it's Diego Maradona.
Yeah.
Bro, this guy, was it Belgium?
Yeah.
Gets on the ball. By the way, the goal. Gets on the ball, shifts it, and rasses that ball, side netting first. Then he goes off. He runs off. I've got to reenact this.
Too pumped.
Runs off.
He's too pumped. Hey. The white in his eyes were too white.
The white in his eyes. He looks like when the Undertaker's rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
He went to the camera screaming, and then after that, I don't know if that's the moment where they said,
Hold on a minute, player.
hey, go and get him. Go
Yeah.
and get him. Because after that, it comes out that Diego Maradona had tested positive for, I don't even remember, for a banned substance. He had tested positive for a banned substance. At this point, Maradona was seen as the greatest player of all time alongside Pele. This is one of the two greatest players. There was no Messi. There was no R9. There was none of these guys that were... there was R9, but he was 17.
Baby.
There was none of this. This is the greatest footballer in the modern time getting banned on his last hurrah for banned substances after this is a World Cup legend, and it had to happen in a World Cup. It had to happen after the brilliance again. This is like the tale of Maradona's life. He does brilliance, but there's always madness to follow. Brilliance, madness to follow, and it's the story of his life. It carried on through his life. R.I.P. But
Rest in peace, man.
I think this is up there with the biggest scandals in
Crazy when you look
football,
at Argentina's World Cup wins though. 78, of course, there was some shakiness there.
Go and do your research.
86, obviously hand there. You got that there. And then World Cup 2022, they moved it to winter for set man.
And he had 5 penalties.
Argentina's World Cups, boy.
So we have to look into it.
But listen, people, that is it for this week. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I can't even lie. Even doing the research for it, there was a lot of stories where I was like, right, it just kind of refreshed your memory. But I hope you lot watching this have learned something today. If not, you know what I mean, I hope you guys will go and do your research on some of these stories as well.
Yep.
Let us know in the comments some of your scandals that you've seen throughout the years in your career, or some that you've seen that's crazy that maybe we haven't even mentioned.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments. Please like the video. As always, we will be back next week as normal, covering up all the Premier League action. Cams, appreciate you as always, brother. We'll be back next week, people. Till then, take care.